Michel.
I'm surprised I made it into this room. I'm like the most normal person on Dream Team. I'm not.
You might actually be,
I think you are the most normal person on Dream Team, actually.
unless you're mad. Then you fit in.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I get a little bit crazy.
Unless
sometimes.
there's one specific person in the office.
Unless there's one window leaking at his house.
Or there's a dog barking outside your house.
True.
Yeah, I already took care of those.
Yeah. Windows are fixed.
Things
Dog
are
is
starting
dead.
to- things
I
are
shot
starting
the
to
dog
look up
twice,
over
so
there
we're
at
good
the-
now.
At the Michel residence, it's nice and quiet.
Yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Give people a little intro into who you are and where you came from.
Yeah, so my name's Nik Michel. I grew up in a small little town 3 hours north of Spokane called Republic, Washington. And gosh, there's about 2,000 people there, gold mining community, logging community. And I moved here to go to Spokane Falls Community College in 2010 and kind of went back and forth. But I've been here for, it's kind of crazy to say 14 years, but I've been in Spokane for a good while now and been with the Dream Team my whole career and still going strong.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do before real estate?
Do you want me to give you a complete background or just like what I did right before?
Bullet
I want
points.
from birth.
Okay. Here we go.
Everything.
Do
you've
you
ever
remember
done,
what it was
where do you-
like when you were born?
I actually do.
Somehow that
scary.
doesn't surprise me.
Right. Yeah, so when I left Republic, I was doing a lot of dumb shit. Like, all my friends were drinking and smoking and doing drugs. I never got into the drugs, but I was just drinking real hard. Almost died of alcohol poisoning, and so that's what kind of got me out of Republic in the first place. And I didn't have any plan. Took my beat-up little Pontiac Grand Prix, filled it up, and drove to Spokane. And, so I just started working a lot of really shitty jobs and trying to work my way up because I actually stayed in my car for about a week. And then, actually, it was maybe 2 weeks. Then stayed at a couple friends, like slept on their couch. And, I was just super uncomfortable with what I had, like nothing in my bank account, could barely save up to put gas in my car. So, I worked at Fran's Bakery, and I know Johnny worked there, and he says to this day that's probably the hardest job. You think bakery, and you're like, oh, wow, it's a bakery. How hard can it be? But I was working 14, 16-hour shifts and night shifts. And then after Fran's, I worked at Budget and Arbor Logging, so I trimmed trees, long hours, cheap labor. But all of those jobs that I had that were extremely hard and brutal, I think I had to go through those steps to be able to get into real estate, and that's kind of where my work ethic comes from. I know that I always say, man, I wish I would have gotten into real estate when I was 18, 19, but I don't think I would have had the same outlook, and I might not be able to be where I am right now. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to get kicked in the teeth a few times before they can really find success, whether it's in or out of real estate.
Especially men. I feel like men always have to kind of go through it. I feel like before they can kind of like snap out of it and get their shit together.
Yeah, it's like once you die once, then you're like, okay, maybe I should actually start taking life seriously.
Yeah, maybe if I die from a heart attack, then maybe I should actually pursue happiness and not be everyone's bitch.
Yeah,
Casey
exactly.
Jones hashtag.
yeah, I guess I could add to that is for a lot of people who are in real estate and think it's super easy, I guess that's why 20% of the agents do 80% of the work, and that's where most people are making big money. But if you come into this thinking like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make a bunch of money. I seen that guy on YouTube and Instagram making videos. You're probably going to bum yourself out when you start having to, it might be different for Zach, but when I got into real estate, I had to talk to hundreds of people like every day. I look at it as like, I said this the other day, it's like a contact sport. Like you have to go in and how many people can you talk to about real estate? Just having conversations every day.
Yeah, you said contact sport at the meeting the other day, and that made me laugh. But it's so true. Like, it's a numbers game. Not everybody, especially in Spokane, the last few years, availability or like affordability is like 25% of the population.
Yeah.
So you have to talk to even 4 people to find one that might be able to buy. So yeah, it really is a numbers game, a contact sport. And
yeah, and I could say that's like an analogy. It's like, I mean, you guys you go to the gym, right? So it's like, you got to go in and put in your reps every single day, and you're going to get growth and how your form is and everything like that. It's the same like when you're talking to someone and using like psychology and not being pressury and like inviting them to say like, no, I don't need your services. But if you find someone with a strong enough pain point who actually needs your help and you can provide that, then yeah, all day you could be helping people.
I just feel like the psychology aspect of it, like, actually kind of determines if they actually need your help. Because when we get called, or, you know, like, how many times a day are we just used to being like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I have to, you know, like, be like, Jerry, come on, dude. I know you're hungry and want lunch. Okay, yeah, I just didn't want to stop working. So it's like, but then no, if like I bug you again and Jerry's like, no, dude, actually, I need to just keep working. Oh, okay, so it's real, right? Like everyone just nice.
I saved it. I did save it.
I saw the catch. We should
Let's
probably
clip it.
that.
There we go.
I caught it.
But yeah, I mean, everyone just like wants to just back out as soon as someone says no, and the first no is never a real no. And you like let them tell you to fuck off, or you know, let them tell you no like a few times.
Yeah.
Wait till they hang up on you.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because a lot of the like big clients that I have and that I've worked with, I've talked to them on and off for 6 months. So if you're in real estate and you're just calling them one time and they tell you no, you might be able to call them in a week from now and they're in a better mood because maybe they're in the middle of working, or
maybe their freaking grandma just died.
Someone died.
Who knows, dude?
You don't really know like what they're going through.
Mic stand sucks.
You just got to detach yourself from the outcome of like getting the sale or whatever, and just think about like, how can I truly help this person accomplish their goals? Because that's what we're here for. It's like we're just a guide to help anybody, you know, buy a house, get an investment, whatever that might be. It's not about what we want. So
Yeah. Coming from 2024, I think it was your biggest year, right?
yeah, 2024. That was my biggest year in production.
What do you think changed from like 2022? Because I think I met you in 21 or 22. What do you think was your biggest change from like those years when I first met you to now making over 100K, 150K, almost 200K from Nik Michel, who was like, yeah, man, I really wish I had bought a house and I'm still kind of broke and I'm still renting, and now you own a house, really nice house. You got a great girlfriend. You kind of got everything put together. What's your work ethic? What's the biggest change? And then your mindset. What's your biggest change?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. There's a handful of things that I could say, but I'll try to narrow it down. So as far as the work ethic portion is, I became an actual business owner. I started tracking everything that I'm doing and having a schedule, and pretty much reverse engineering my entire year about, okay, I want to make, so this is for, I'm talking about, so in 2024, I was like, okay, I want to make $175,000 this year. So I pretty much reverse engineered that, and like, then I knew how many hours I got to prospect a day, how many contacts I have to have, and how many contacts turn to appointments, how many appointments turn to solds, and so on. So just tracking everything. And then I would say the people that you surround yourself with has been like life-changing for me from back in like 2022 when you and I met. I think you know some of the stuff that I was going through as well, but I cut off some dead weight, you could say, and stayed around people that actually care about my success. And you've probably heard the saying, like, you become the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. If you hang out with 5 people who are crackheads, you're probably going to be the 6th.
Yeah,
and if you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're probably going to become the 6th. So, yeah, just association of who you're putting yourself around all the time is going to be a big change. And then I've learned a lot from everybody on the Dream Team. But another thing, I think if you need a lot of attention, like I felt like I needed a lot of attention. So I ended up finding some coaching. I showed it to Zach and was like, hey, what do you think about this? And he's like, okay, that fits your personality type. I think you should give it a year, try it out. And it's it's reverse selling Brandon Mulrennan, if anybody's heard about him. That's been a big change for me as well, and helped me on the phone, talking to people, listing presentation, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, when he showed it to me, I just felt like it would work for you because, it was like super analytical and data-driven and, kind of like fancy-smancy and just a lot of different tools and systems and everything was just like computerized. Yeah, and I was like, that will really work for you, dude.
Where my brain is at, too, as far as like the stuff that I do, I feel like I'm catering to the masses of people. I feel like the suit and tie mentality where you can like present like pretty material and show them stats. I think people do like that if you can present it in the right way and be a real person. Like I'm not going in and being a robot. I'm being myself and just asking important questions and showing information. So
yeah, I think the thing that's unique about you is you're like a goofy guy. You work hard, but you want things to look nice, but you also like don't care about that at the same time. Like you're like, I want it to look nice and feel good about it, but like I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
like
yeah.
you're like you want to feel good about what you're presenting. You're not necessarily like I have to present this information because I'm a fancy schmancy floozy realtor business person and I'm so professional and blah blah blah. And you're just more like I want it to look nice because this is what I like, and if they like it, cool. If they don't, then But what's cool is like behind the premise of that is just a normal, goofy country dude. You know what I'm saying? So like I think that's what's cool about you.
I think it goes back to what you had said about when you make a bunch of calls, you have to detach yourself from like the outcome of every individual call because you're working toward that goal. And I think it's kind of the same way where it goes back to when we were door knocking. Like you have to detach yourself from the outcome of each individual door and attach yourself to like the outcome of doing the work itself. And I mean, if we had had that mentality while door knocking, probably wouldn't have been so annoyed and angry when people are just like, fuck you, it's Saturday, and slam the door in my face. But I think you've done that really well, where you want to present the information the way you think is the best way, the way that works for you. But also, if they don't accept it or they don't think your pricing is right or whatever, you don't derive your value as an agent or as a person. It's not locked into whether they say yes to you. And I think that maybe is a lot of the reason why new agents have such a problem with the rejection, is because they think that they're being rejected as a person, but they're actually the person just their grandma died that day or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned is not to, like, if someone tells you no, who cares, go talk to someone else. Like, I think when you and I were out door knocking and stuff, that was just part of our process to grow as a person and to figure that out, because shout out to Drew Wilson over there starting the Florida team, Dream Team Florida, powered by Amplify.
Now you can
Super
release
stoked
that
for
video.
too, so.
You can release that video, by the way, now.
Nice. Yeah, it's on my computer right now.
I was like, I didn't want to release that before he actually did it, so sorry.
Was I supposed to not release?
No, you
No,
can't.
because this video won't go out for at least probably 2 weeks, because I got
cool.
Drew and then Texas Man. I always forget his name.
Alex.
Yeah, but we can't
Alex,
do his
yeah.
either because he's not ready.
Gotcha. So, maybe yours will be next week
Yeah.
instead.
And we got to clip out Sean's finally and send him something.
Yeah.
So
I'll get some
so
clips
adding
on
to
that.
that again after the shout out to Drew Wilson. So as Jerry and I were out door knocking like 100 doors a day, we're getting rejected and just getting shit on every day.
It's like in July during COVID.
Yeah, and him and it was funny because like Jerry, when he would get on the phone or after we went and door knocked it, our skill set was like so much sharper. So that's one of the things for a lot of agents out there watching this, like, go out there and do things that are super uncomfortable, even if it's not going to pay you right away. Because for me, my skill set from door knocking hundreds of doors, now I can get on the phone and talk to someone and become their best friend. They invite me to their house, and I make $10,000, like, just from talking on the phone and showing them information and being real and telling the truth, and just being able to duplicate that. So I think being around Jerry and Drew Wilson teaching me, it was kind of a combination of everybody. And I never thought that I'm on my 5th year of real estate now, but never thought that I'd be making $175,000 in residential. And there's so many more opportunities still. Like, I did a flip with Zach, and I learned a little bit, but there's still a lot more there too that can add to the income. There's so many opportunities.
Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Idaho people, like, they value the, like, I'm just honestly giving you the truth.
Nick will do really well in Idaho.
Crush in Idaho,
You're gonna do really well.
Especially because people in
the
North
Like, I'm
Idaho
from Republic, Washington.
Yep.
Yeah,
North Idaho and
that'll-
Republic are
that'll
very
do-
similar.
That'll do really well. Like your natural.
I do like guns, though. I mean, I like guns.
There you
like
go.
Well, your
guns.
natural
It's all good.
personality will do way better in Idaho. Like, you already look at what you're doing in Washington, but, like, Washington people aren't like traditionally like Republic. Spokane is definitely like we would all probably struggle in Seattle because we would be like people would think we're so
We're pretty weird for them.
No, weird would be fine. We'd just be like, I don't want to hear any of your shit, and then Seattle people would be like, you don't think I'm important, So it's like that's what Seattle's like, right? Like I just had an interview with Hunter's boss the other day, and we were just talking about like having him use his network to find us a Seattle person and an Arizona person, and I said, and he's like, yep, you are infiltrating the California bro network of floozy. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. And he's just like, it's tough, dude, like you just, like you have good conversation. He said within 5 minutes, they're like, oh, this guy's cool. You're like, oh God. And so that's so far trying to grow into those networks. That's how it's been. I'd say Spokane's more probably like Republic, but it also has a mix of like the Seattle vibe. So I agree with what Jerry's saying. I think you'll do really well in Idaho because I think your natural values will be more appreciated there.
Yep. That makes sense. I mean, Republic only has about 2,000 people, but most, I don't know the percentage, but 90% of them are probably hardcore laborers, roughnecks. Like they get out and bust their ass.
Well, think of all those expireds too that you get over there that are probably $2 million expireds. You're going to get into a different bucket over there. I think you're just going to do really well in Idaho.
Yeah. So
different game.
Beyond the don't give out any industry secrets of your business, but beyond just like the changing of your mindset to run your business like an actual business, track everything, and detach your value or your ego or whatever from the outcome of the calls and the work, what strategies, because when we first started it was calling leads, cold calls, and door knocking. What kind of strategies are you doing now that have made you different than where you were or the average agent?
Yeah, I guess it's really pretty simple. A lot of people make it very complicated, but it all comes down to the same thing. One of the things I heard is like a sales executive, like I'm in sales, reaching out to people. So for me, I'm doing the basics. I'm still like Zach, he provides leads to the whole team. I still call our leads.
That's good.
There's expireds. Those are motivated people out in the marketplace that need an agent to help them out because someone sat down and maybe didn't tell them the truth or gave them an inflated number just to earn their business. So I call the expireds. There's people trying to sell on their own, and if they can't do it, it's like, okay, I mean, if you can't get your home sold, do you plan on just staying here forever, or do you think you actually need to get this job done? And that's when I come in and try to play Superman for them and get the job done. So for sale by owners, and then we have, so that's kind of all I'm doing, man. I call sync expireds for sale by owners, and I work my past clients. I talk to all my past clients, and
what you really did,
I stay in touch with everybody.
I feel like you really just added different income streams to your business, like different types of things. Like I'm calling from here and I'm calling from there, and so and again, I'm beating a dead horse, but that's again what Idaho is going to provide a lot of you guys. It's just another income stream, another opportunity, and so every millionaire has 7 different income streams. So it's like you're just adding these sources that you're pulling from to essentially get clients, and that's what the name of the game is about. And so like that's why even me I'm getting back on lead calls this year, and so far it's like I've been in for since like Monday or Tuesday, and I've already literally got a qualified buyer. And I talked to another lady that's like not unsure of if she wants to move here, but I wasn't pushy on her, so she's like, cool, she's on one of my drips, and she's like, cool, just hit me up, or I'll hit you up if I ever move there. And so it's like, cool, at least another conversation, and then a few other people I'm still trying to get a hold of. So it's like, it's just literally like that's just our job, So it's like I don't think anyone's ever too good, to do their job.
Yeah, I believe that how much value you put out in the marketplace, that's kind of what you're going to be worth. So I think a lot of people complicate this business, but there's a lot of skill that's involved. There's a lot of rejection and thinking that you suck at your job and then trying to figure it out, reading books, trying to learn how to public speak or, get your ideas out to people. So there's a lot that goes to it, and it's not easy, but you just got to constantly keep on repeating, growing, learning.
You said skill, which I agree with, but I almost feel like what you're saying too is like mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Like
exactly.
it's like more, I would almost say to challenge that, I'd say it's almost like more mental toughness than skill to be a realtor.
Yeah,
really.
it's like you need to be mentally tough enough to get lucky. Like you have enough at bats, eventually you're going to hit it a couple times.
Yeah.
Once you get lucky a few times, then that skill finally starts to build. You start getting that muscle memory on like, they said this, I'll say this.
Yeah, and it'd be. It's just funny to think too. It's like once you get a few hits, get a few clients, get a few closings, then it's just like your confidence gets higher, and then it's like your confidence oftentimes and not can make up for skill.
Yeah.
Like you still got to know what you're doing. You can't go get sued, and that's like why Jerry's there. Like we have mentorships, and people are watching people, so all that stuff. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean it's just you get a little confidence. Like Alejandro, bro, you see him today? He looked like he took a 13-pound shit because he finally got his first closing, good check, and he was just like, yeah.
That's Big Mo. That's Big Mo. Momentum.
Yeah,
Big
exactly.
Mo.
And so you could just see a change in his attitude. And, I was just cracking jokes even with him last night. I was like, can't wait to see you pull the big stick out of your ass tomorrow. I was making jokes with him because it's just like, he's gonna come around, and he has, and he's way happier now. And he's just, you can tell he's just a lot more confident in himself.
The most skilled agent can go into a house with zero, and not believe that they're going to get the deal. And an agent with way less skill goes in with confidence, and they're going to actually get the contract signed. It's not always necessarily about skill. But that's why every time there's a new agent, I always suggest go door knocking. Go for like a month. Just pick any month.
Go get your ass kicked.
Yeah, literally. If you are afraid of rejection, this is to anybody who's listening. If you struggle with rejection, regardless of what kind it is, like the best way to get over that is to immerse yourself in it to the point where you're literally override it in your brain where you cannot be afraid of it anymore because you just face so much of it. Like if you're a young guy or a young girl and you can't talk to guys or girls and like get dates, go to the bar, the library, the coffee shop, whatever, and just go have conversations. Get rejected 40 times. Eventually you'll get a date.
Yeah, turn it into a game if you have to. Like you and the boys go out, be like, how many times can we get rejected in one fucking day?
I can't get another drink until I get rejected 5 times or something.
And
whatever it might be.
And I think for people to actually go through all that crap, they have to actually figure out like why they're even doing this. Like, why are you getting into real estate? And for people like, like some of the OGs on Dream Team and there's a lot of people that have huge goals, but if you're wanting to make, $500,000, $1 million or more, you have to go out there and you do have to suffer, and you have to do things that other people aren't willing to do, because that's how you're going to set yourself apart.
If they were willing to do it, they'd have $1 million too. But not everybody's willing to do it.
It's not easy, right, Zach?
No, if it was easy, everyone could do it.
You didn't accidentally
get
where you're at.
Yeah, probably yes and no. I mean, to me, everything's kind of just like, a proponent of your mindset and your hard work and the energy that you're putting into the universe. But I also think it's like sometimes, like, I love what Casey said, because if you're doing the work and you're doing the right stuff, sometimes you just get lucky. And so, but that only comes through hard work and skill. So if you develop your skill and you develop working hard and you develop your habits, eventually you're just going to get lucky there a few times. Like you talk to the one guy one day, and then that leads to like 5 referrals. And then one of those 5 referrals, one of them is just like a raving fan, loves Zach, loves Nick, loves Jerry, Casey, whatever. And then just like, oh, he's so good, and this happened. I got to tell all my friends about him, so all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you work hard enough, you're going to get lucky more. Like, if you just like, I got rejected, I'm going to quit, that luck is never going to come. You're never going to get lucky because you gave up on the first fucking no.
That's why I'm trying to tell Casey that he needs to do real estate more.
Hey, I've been.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you haven't. I'm just saying that's why I've been stressing that to you, because it's like you can do so much more than just go around making $300 here, $300 there. Like, you're savage, bro.
I just got to send it.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to send it.
I will say something, though, as far as just when I first joined Dream Team. Can't believe it was back in 2020, but it was just
crazy.
What, we had 4 of us, or was it 5?
There's
and
5.
Hunter Zier. And
5 and Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have the opportunity to be around Hunter Zier and Zach specifically, that can change your life, and loyalty does go a long ways. I think that people who, we started with 4 people. We have, Zach, what do we have? 50 people, or
it's more than that now.
Like 56 total.
It's probably like 56, yeah.
Isn't that a good feeling though? Like when you're working around people, you're like, I know Jerry has my back. Like Zach has my back. These guys aren't gonna just be like, oh, hey, I found something better. Hey, fuck you, Nick,
Well,
I'm
that's
out.
the thing. I
Yeah,
think
shit.
I think I've thought about that a lot. I think we just set the tone so well because of the first 5 or 10 people that joined, and so there's no drama. Nothing ever. It's hard for drama to even take place. If it does, we expect people to go talk it out. If they can't talk it out, then okay, we'll figure it out. So it's like we said. I just think it's a proponent of like me, you, Kuiper, Jerry, Dustin. Like we set the tone so strong at first, and it's like, dude, everyone, and even Amira too. Like I'll throw her in there too, but obviously there's other OGs that but it's just like I think especially that group. Like, probably Johnny, too. Like, we were just so shit on so much early, and there was so much shit said about us, and we're just still here not getting sued doing the damn shit. And so I think that bond is almost just like, if you look back on it and you reflect on it and think about it in, like, a vacuum, it's like, dude, there's a lot of people who've talked shit about us, and no matter what we do right or, like, wrong, it don't make a difference. Like, people say shit, make up lies, make up rumors, and it's like we just set the tone because we just kept having each other's back, kept doing morally right things, and kept just ignoring it and just kept going. So now it's like, of course, something beautiful came out of that.
Yeah, I mean, people start, like, all these major companies started in a basement or a garage, and we literally started in your house, in your living room, on like one sectional couch that's as big as this couch.
Yeah, with a whiteboard.
With a whiteboard, having like random like home insurance people come and talk to us.
Yeah, at my house.
Yeah.
People are probably like, what the fuck is happening?
And then I think like Nick and I talk about it all the time where if we needed help with a contract back in the day, was like, hey, what box do I do here? Jeez. And Zach would be like, drive to my house.
Relentless.
And we're like, okay, cool. Drive across the city, come to his house. He's like, oh, it's that one right there. Bye.
Dude, I gotta
cool.
But it was just good.
I gotta add something to that real quick. So it's kind of crazy too because like a lot of the new agents, like with the training that we have now, there's so much training and hands-on stuff that they have the opportunity to learn so much so quick. Mm-hmm. But like what you were saying was, Zach, like, hey, dude, there's a checkbox here. I think it was like the appraisal, like they won't pay more than the appraised amount. Yeah. I had to drive all the way out to Coeur d'Alene to have him check one box.
Yep.
But dude, that's literally like the tough love is like what makes us really good. And like I've coached people in the past and I love them, and
you'll never forget it again. That's how I
but here's the thing is like you and I have chested up and you've gotten pissed at me, but it's out of like caring, and it's because you love us, dude. You're not. It's not because you hate us.
No.
You know, there's been times, probably, I'm sure Griffin's watching this, where I sound like I'm a big asshole, but really all I want to see is to, Griffin.
See him do good.
Yeah, Griffin make good money and take care of his family and then be able to teach other people what he's learned and more. That's all I want.
If you weren't passionate about it.
And that's another reason why we're not for everybody, right? Like, it's like, we'll tell you the truth, and that's just not for everybody. Like, some people just want to go along, get along. And I always say that about the world and real estate in general. Real estate has a huge go along, get along gang, which is like, I'm just going to go along with the status quo to get along with everybody. So going along to get along. So it's like, here it's like, no, dude, get your shit together, figure it out, not because I'm controlling you or I want you to or I think. It's just like, I'm observing your life. You've asked me to help you. This is clearly something I am seeing. Now, if you try this for 2 months and it doesn't work, okay, but I think if you try this, it'll work, so it's like, some people just leave because that's just not for everyone. And I never blame them, but I also agree. Like, I think we have plenty of training and opportunity and agents ask for help, and then mentors in place to protect agents and watch their shit. And so it's like, I just, it's pretty hard to get in trouble here, honestly.
But it's also crazy. Yeah, you have a lot of support, but also there's a level of like,
figure it out.
You have to go figure it out. Like when we started, literally, it was like
we were all figuring it out.
It was like, hey, we got sync, call, and I was like, call? What do you mean call? Like, and I'm literally thinking back about how bad that was. Like, just calling me, and they're like, hello? I'm like, hi, I'm Jerry. And they're like, who the fuck is Jerry? I'm like, I'm a real estate agent.
What do I do with my hands? What am I
exactly.
Have you got back on your calls yet?
Yeah.
How's that going?
I mean, now it's easy because nothing
have you
nothing
made
beats
any-
getting the door slammed.
Have you made any contacts?
I mean, I've had some good conversations. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'll have to talk to my husband, talk to my wife, whatever."
Nice.
No buyers yet
Cool.
or sellers yet, but
Gotta
yeah,
get
it's-
back on that, Jerry.
it's
I've sent
just
several people over to Hunter in the past like week or two.
yeah, it's just getting back into the flow, and like once you go through like, I don't know what you want to call it. You have to go through the fire to like learn that.
Yeah,
but
dude, you got to
it
be
never goes
comfortable on the
away
phone.
once
I mean,
you.
there's
once
a
you
new
get it.
agent that's like, I can tell she's so scared to call, and so I was just like, she was talking to Tyson the other day. I was like, I don't want to call my leads. Just picking on her, and I could see her rolling her eyes. Like, I was like, and I looked at Tyson. I was like, everyone likes me more than me, and I don't give a fuck. And then I walked upstairs.
Oh, Tyson's definitely the hug, and
Yeah.
I think even though he's
Zach's the hammer.
oh
I am,
Zach
dude.
Zach
Hey,
is
hey, you can't be
hammer.
taking my. I'm
That-
the hammer.
that's
Jerry
true.
already
That's-
tried to
that's
take
his-
my title
that's
the
his
other day
nickname.
at the meeting where he was pulled off his belt and was about to spank
Yeah.
his children, and
well every
he
now
said
and
he was the
then.
hammer. I'm like, damn, I thought
Yeah.
I was the hammer.
Did you guys see? Sorry to change the subject. Did you guys see Nick Kuiper's video today?
Yeah.
This is fucking
That was funny.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I showed him there's an agent who does that in like Louisiana or North Carolina or something, and I showed it to him like months ago, and he was like, "Haha, that's funny." And then I watched that, and I was like, "That motherfucker just like stole the trend I was gonna use."
I'm so glad he finally started doing vertical video. I've been telling everyone
Oh.
on Dream Team, like, you guys are wasting your video by doing horizontal video if you're not posting it on
Mm.
YouTube. Like, it's only good on YouTube. If it's on Facebook or Instagram, it needs to be vertical.
Yep.
Preaching it for months, and finally some people are starting to listen to me.
Vertical
Hell
with
yeah.
subtitles. It's gotta
You
have
make
subtitles.
me vertical, dog.
Hell yeah.
Hell.
Stay vertical.
Hell yeah.
Ask me some tough questions now.
Yeah, ask him some questions. You have his list.
Oh, I do.
Ty
I
got
do.
licensed in Idaho today. That's dope.
I think that was just like a
How
my
long
thoughts
till
list.
How
That was
long
just
till
kinda
you're
like
licensed
thoughts.
in Idaho?
What's the best business book you think you've read in, like, the past
That's not-
12-ish months?
It's not even a hard question.
Business book. Gosh, I have a library of books. I would say you can't go if you're in real estate. You can't go wrong with the basic Gary Keller, Millionaire Real Estate Agent. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's probably one of my best ones for real estate.
What do you think was your biggest takeaway or a couple takeaways from that book?
Just how to set up a schedule and how to structure everything. It goes into a bunch of stuff like mail outs, postcards, farming, mega open houses, branding. You just got to have everything on point. There's a lot to it. You're not just out making calls and door knocks. There's quite a bit to it. So it kind of lays all that out for you.
It's kind of like giving you the blueprint itself.
You move to a new city. You get to pick where you go, but you have to restart and rebuild a real estate business. What are the first three things you do, and where are you going to go to?
Dang, where would I go? I want to go somewhere warm. Probably go to Texas.
Okay.
The reason I go to Texas, apparently I have a bunch of family there.
Oh, wow.
That I've never met. So I have a bunch of family in Texas. And the first thing that I would probably do is purchase Vulcan. It's a dialer. It pulls up information for expireds, for sale by owners, for rent by owners. And I would just start getting on the phone. I'd get a CRM, maybe Follow-Up Boss, and just start plugging people in there and having campaigns and just trying to add value, get my name out there. Go door knock too. I'd go door knock again, and just so people in the community actually know who I am. I'd do shout outs for, I think I'm over 3, but I'd probably go out to restaurants and businesses and do shout outs for them, do videos in front of them, and try to promote their business as much as I can, and just become the face of that area.
I love that.
What's one place you've always wanted to go on vacation?
Probably, I think Bermuda sounds cool. The pink beaches of Bermuda. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, they actually have, because all the coral or something breaks up and it's like pink sand and it's super tropical. I don't know. Seems cool.
I've always wanted to go to Australia, but I'm like, fuck. That flight's going to be a grind.
Oh, dude, that would be brutal.
It'd be like a 15-hour flight. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be anxious about being over the water the whole time. Oh.
Going into 2025, we kind of talked about your 2021, 2022 to what you did last year. From last year, all the learning lessons you've had, what are you going to apply in 2025 to help take your business to the next level?
Yeah, that's a good question. I will be delegating, so I want to free up more of my time to do what I'm good at. So there's a couple people on our team that's really helped me out right now to show houses for me, so I don't have to go out and spend all my time opening doors. So I'm trying to concentrate on income producing activities. So delegation, I would like to, if I could build up the income and get more advice from the people around me, I would like to do another flip, buy another house, but it sounds like that might be a little bit difficult. But I did buy a house this year, which is cool, but my mindset has changed quite a bit to where I'm ready to buy investments and start growing my wealth. I'm in that area of my business where delegate, free up my time, build wealth. That's what I want to do this year.
Yeah. Good, man. I also feel like with what you're doing, getting in Idaho, and then getting even some more agents too. I can really see that agent thing's getting. You're getting really good at that.
Yeah, gosh.
You got to find the right people, but I feel like you're getting
if
pretty
anyone's
good at
watching this podcast from my Facebook and you want some help, let's sit down because there's a lot of opportunities in this business, and I'm a small town redneck that could barely make eye contact when I'm talking to someone, and it's like doing pretty good. So I think you could do it too.
Yeah, Nick, I think by the end of, I bet if you put your mind to it, as even a side quest, I bet you could get like 5 to 8 people by the end of the year if you really wanted them.
Side quest.
Yeah.
I read this thing today where it was like, there was this girl talking about how if you want your boyfriend, husband, whatever, to do something for you, you can't be that like, oh, well, if you want to, you can. It's like, no, give that motherfucker a quest.
Yeah,
Tell him to go do
yeah.
it, and that is his mission for the day, and he will do it. But if you're just like, oh, well, I just want him to do it, and I don't want to have to tell, like,
I already
should
know.
just clean my car and not have to say anything. Like, no, just
Main quest. That's my main quest.
It might not happen this year just because, like, timing, got to study. But next year, bro, and obviously, let's just say, for the sake of saying this, you do the same thing you did this year. Let's just say that. Next year.
My conversion will be a lot higher this year.
Oh, for sure.
So,
I'm just saying, let's go worst case, right? Like, worst case. You do just because this year, but I know for a fact, once you're licensed in Idaho, I bet you make $200,000 to $300,000 a year every year for the rest of your life. I almost put that on my daughter's life. That's how sure I am. Like, I'm that sure because it's like if you just do what you do here, there, you have double the opportunities. I just know it. And then you get some agents. I know that like your agents will produce just because of your systems and shit. And I bet you could get 5 to 10 agents and fucking rock it, dude.
that's a goal, man.
Speaking of another side quest, how's the quest going for the One Ring?
Oh boy, it's going pretty good.
I
will say
that was good.
Yeah. Everybody in here knows Kaylee, right? You guys have you've all met Kaylee.
never met her.
Yeah. Fuck you, Casey.
Only been to your house a few times.
just one time for some film and the picture with Kaylee. So, but Kaylee is my calm. Like I'm a little bit when I go home after doing real estate stuff. She's always chill. Like she's never a little crazy. Just gotta teach her how to do the dishes.
Oh my God.
And now Nick is
That's gonna get clipped. That's clipped. That's a clip.
No, she's got to teach him how to cook. She doesn't cook.
Yeah, I'm sure she could say some stuff about me too.
Kendra can teach her how to make sourdough.
Anyone that
clean
can
stuff.
touch up.
She's doing that right now. She's
Oh, yeah?
watching the videos on how to make
You
sourdough
gotta get a
bread
big.
and
You
everything.
gotta get a big jar, like maybe not quite as big as your water bottle, but it has to have a bigger opening, and then you can make a big starter, and you can get like a loaf every couple of days.
Yeah, anyone that can put up with Nick on a day-to-day basis deserves to, be married to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All right, Nick. So back on the subject of health. When I first met you, you were a crazy health nut. I think the very first time I even talked to you, I heard someone talking about a Ben Greenfield book, and I was like, I don't know anyone else who reads Ben Greenfield other than myself. So I immediately was like, who the fuck said that? And I went and started talking to you, and that was how you and I first started
That's
talking.
how we became friends. I was talking about Ben Greenfield to someone. I hear in the background, did somebody say Ben Greenfield? And then you literally run up to me.
Yeah, and then we started lifting.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah.
Well, after that, I had my health scare, and you got super paranoid and stopped working out, super crazy, and I was kind of in the same boat, like I just haven't been able to.
Mm-hmm.
But with the whole going back to Ben Greenfield, do you have anything like that you've just applied to your life from his podcast, his books, anything like that that's really stuck out to you that you just felt like absolutely changed your mindset or your perspective around health?
Because here's the thing. I mean, if you're grinding and working all the time and you're not taking care of your health, I think your health is your biggest asset. If you're rich and you're a fat piece of shit and you die and you have like millions of dollars, like what are you gonna do? How are you gonna take care of your family?
Die at 45.
Exactly. If you're not outside playing football with Obi, you know, in 10 years or whatever, like come on, like what are you doing? But
my back is so bad I might not be able to. But
right.
Amen. I'm praying about it.
But yeah, that's what I was saying. Health is, I think that's your biggest investment. So some simple concepts for me is just like clean water. Might sound weird, but clean water, because there's chlorine, there's arsenic, fluoride, all kinds of shit in your water that can slow you down. So I think if you clean up your water, you get rid of processed oils like canola oil and all that stuff.
Seed
like
oils and shit.
I think you're just going to operate at a higher level of everyone else who's basically poisoning themselves. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen the Kennedy stuff, trying to you know, make America healthy again and get rid of all the poison that's in our food. So this is something that I've been passionate about for probably 10 years and just studying and like, wow, what's in our food? There's a lot of stuff in our food that you'd be surprised. Like, I know a lot of people like fuck with me and tell jokes and be like, you're crazy. But yeah, man, you research some of the ingredients they put in food and it's like, this causes calcium crystals to form in your lungs. This gives you brain cancer.
Yeah, this literally will cause cancer. Like everything in our food is like, yeah, that could cause cancer. This can cause cancer. That's super harmful for you. And it's like,
and I think if you're being active too, on top of like just eating healthy, then like Zach told me, I was like, man, I'm tired, dude. I can't talk to people right now. He's like, go to the gym. I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So I started going to the gym, and that's actually feels tired. But then when you leave the gym, you're like, wow, I feel good. And then your energy comes back, and you got a body in motion tends to stay in motion. So you got to keep everything moving.
The 3 days that I take off from the gym a week, I'm not doing well. I'm just like fucking.
Yep. Every day where I go to the gym in the morning, I have a much better day than the days I don't go.
What days do you go to the gym?
Every day of the week, except for Sunday and Saturday.
Nice. That's smart.
Yep.
Dude, you could probably attest to this, right, Jerry? Like, I know that, like, you've been eating, like, super healthy and stuff, and I know when I first met you, like, I feel like you just operate at a different level now. You're the managing broker. You seem...
Well, I mean, yeah, I was just, like, single dude, poor, no time, bought fast food all the time, didn't eat healthy, didn't drink water, and then I was like... I don't know why I feel bad all the time. Never went to the gym.
I feel like shit 95% of my life.
Never took care of myself. And then I was like, I don't know why I feel like shit. I was like, well, actually, it's because you aren't doing the most basic things. Like you said, your health is your biggest asset. It's the number one thing you should all pay attention to the most.
Health is wealth, dude.
Yeah.
That's my motto.
I don't think it really clicked for me in any real, like, meaningful way that stuck until I did 75 hard. And then after that, I was like, oh, shit, actually drinking a gallon of water a day, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not even enough if you're actually working out. And by the end of it, I was drinking like a gallon and a half, working out twice a day, and was never tired, never felt bad. Was waking up at like 5:30, never tired about like waking up early, not sluggish, super like engaged in everything that was going on. And that, like you said, a body in motion tends to stay in motion.
Nah.
You keep getting in here, dude. This is like my fifth time getting you out of here.
He can join the party at this point.
He's going to knock something over.
Yeah, and I was going to add to that. I was going to say, you know, there's a lot of people that suffer with, like, mental illnesses and stuff like that. And so if...
The loudest tale of all time.
Good boy.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, what do
honestly,
you think would be one
too.
big tip that you could give someone who doesn't know where to start with their health? Like, they want to start taking things more seriously, but they just don't know.
The dog sounds.
All right, Rocco. Here.
You have to
Rocco,
ask
go
that
outside. Go
You have to
outside.
ask that question again.
Hey, get the fuck out of here.
I just heard the dog like the.
Yeah.
Hey, Casey, throw him out real quick. Don't throw him, though. Zach will kick you.
Bro, but
I still remember the time Nick did something to your dog and you almost
fought him.
That was funny. That was literally my first like week of knowing Zach.
I love it.
But they're like,
I used to be brutal, dude. It's the reason I'm not the managing broker.
here, ask me that question, okay, and then I guess we can wrap it up if you want.
All right, final question. What do you think, like, you're a pretty healthy guy, pretty active. What would be one tip that you give someone who just doesn't know where to start exactly? You know, their health's not good. They're kind of a little overweight, a little lazy. They don't eat great. like, what would you say to that person? And what would you like, if you had to spend a day with them, where would you start?
So I'm going to change your question just slightly. And there's a couple of things because, gosh, there's a lot of people dealing with like depression, mental illness, and they're trying to take pills to solve this. But how many people are staring at their cell phones at 11 o'clock at night, 10, midnight, getting blue light and stuff? So I'd say get good sleep, wake up early, and get a schedule, get your sleep on track, and then just work hard and go to the gym and drink clean water and get rid of the processed stuff. And you might be surprised, like, I don't know if Zach remembers this or if he even knew, but I used to I was so anxious all the time. I had a hard time even talking in front of small groups of people like this. Like back in 2020, if I was sitting here, I'd probably be too scared to even talk, but just getting my sleep on track, trying to, and eating right and moving. I think that's going to help a lot of people with like the depression and mental illness that people do deal with. But they're just putting a bunch of poison in their mind, like this shit they see on their phone and the media, and it's crazy.
And also, just to add on to that, I think having like the idea that you have to do all of it on day one perfectly is what stops a lot of people. Where like, I want to be healthy, I don't know where to start. I go to the gym for one day, and then I try to go to sleep, but then I don't sleep very well, or I'm up past my schedule or whatever, and then because I failed at that, now I'm just going to give up. I think that holds a lot of people back too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's little incremental steps. You can't just dive all in, but
be okay not being perfect the first time when you're like, I'm going to try and eat 3 meals that I cook. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get to sleep by 10, not be on my phone after 8 p.m., whatever it is. Like, if shit happens and like somebody calls you in an emergency at 9 p.m., it doesn't mean you failed. Like, that shit just happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, another big thing when you're going to sleep, a lot of people like me have their phone charging like on their bedstand or whatever, turn off your Wi-Fi, put it in airplane mode, have your alarm set to whatever time, and your alarm will still go off like normal. But every night that I do that, my sleep is significantly better than when I don't do it because of all of the frequencies and shit coming out of my phone.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's
like
wild.
People don't think.
It sounds like it's not real.
People don't think about like the Wi-Fi and stuff that you have plugged in your cell phone next to your head.
Yep, because you can't see it.
One thing that I see in common with like a lot of really successful people, even Zach, one of your mentors, Keith, he was doing red light therapy.
Yeah.
And I was asking about it, and he's like, "Well, I don't really like to talk about it because it's kind of like hippie shit, but." I see so many people that are like Keith who are making a ton of money, and they're up in the morning before the sun comes up. They're getting exposed to red light, and they're avoiding their cell phone for the first hour of waking, and that's when you're your most creative point. I don't know if you guys knew that, but the first hour of waking, your brain's at the most creative point. So if you can wake up, I know we're real estate agents, so we got to be on our phone all the time, but if you can give yourself an hour after waking, you're probably going to come up with some really good ideas. And yeah,
nice.
And also, like, your first hour really should be like you wake up, do some like meditation or prayer or journal or whatever.
I like to jerk it.
That's when he's the most creative.
Yeah, just get, the post-nut clarity.
But like,
Choke chicken.
shave,
First thing in the morning.
Shave, shower, brush your
Shave
teeth,
what?
do whatever. You know what. But
His head,
all of that,
not
like,
the one you're thinking of.
all of those things, and like getting breakfast
Jerry.
ready, that takes your first hour
Just
right
the
there.
carpet match the drink.
No, it matches more of the down here.
Is there gray ones in there yet, Jerry?
It's like a lagoon down there. It's just rough.
Okay, you got one more? Any more? I got one more in me.
One more what?
One more.
One more jerk.
Yeah, one more jerk.
I want you to talk about your mushroom drink.
Okay, yeah.
I was been meaning to ask about it the whole
I've been
time.
asking him to try one
Yeah.
for a year.
I'm
dude.
not sponsored by Rebel, but yeah, this has a bunch of mushrooms in it, and it helps me.
How much does it cost?
Gosh, I think it's like $4.
Can
So-
Maybe it's
bulk?
$4.99. I don't know. I spend a lot of money on these. It's reishi. It has
Should
a bunch
look if you can buy them in bulk.
You probably can.
You're just tripping balls all day on your mushroom
Unfortunately, this doesn't have psilocybin, so it's not the psychedelic mushrooms. This is
It's
more
not moon juice.
Johnny's out.
moon juice. Yeah, Johnny doesn't want this.
Yeah.
Fuck.
drink? Imagine being...
I'm definitely a creature of habit, though. I think that's
Yeah.
why I'm so structured, because every day Tyson's like, "Yep, Nick has his gallon water and his mushrooms and his little like tracker for calls is in the right spot. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna move your little clicker thing. I'm gonna like move it over a couple inches and just watch your whole day fall apart.
like, right.
Take your mushroom juice and just like open it before you get to it, and then you don't get to hear that crack right when you open it.
Right.
And whole day is gone.
All right.
Sweet.
All right.
That was
Thanks
good.
for tuning in to Beyond the Boundaries. If you are in the Spokane or Coeur d'Alene area and you would like to be on one of these, make sure you drop a comment down below, and we will see you guys on the next one.